So guys, it's August the 23rd and just down the micro orchard, just walking past my neighbour here. Look at this, Victoria plums, beautiful, and these pears, fantastic crop of pears. I'm not sure what variety, it could be down the Comet maybe, but the tree had keeled over. Morning. So right, I'll have to retake that now. A neighbour just went past there, so I don't know where to put that in as a blooper. Anyway, so but the tree had gone over, so I had a spare stake and tied it back up for her. And yeah, that's a fantastic, beautiful crop of pears. Anyway, let's get onto the micro orchard. This is Brown's, which is a cider apple. Let's look at the colour of that, absolutely stunning. And you can see that they've been falling off, so I'll probably be picking these soon. In fact, most of the apples are going to be, I reckon, 3 to 4 weeks early this year, and I think that's down to the warm spring that we had. And as I mentioned in the previous video, quite small as well, small fruit, you know, they should be twice as big as that. But funnily enough, the pears aren't, as Bill, 2 plots, was it Bill and Val? Bill mentioned the pears, his pears were normal size, and he's right, you know, they are pretty much, even though they've got scab, but they're still perfectly edible, just need to peel them, that's all. But it's funny that, isn't it? I don't know why that is. Maybe the pear gets its root down deeper or something, not sure. If anybody knows why, drop me a comment. It's a lovely still morning though. Anyway, so yesterday, I've just unloaded these flags now out the van. We went out for the day, it was the wife's birthday yesterday, but I'd arranged to collect these flags which were free off on Marketplace, is it, on Facebook. I got some the other week. These are these 2x2s, really heavy. But I took 6, but actually when these came up, these are 17.5, or is it 450mm by 450, which is, if I swing you around again, absolutely perfect. That's what I've got here, and I've just laid one out to see, check, and it's absolutely spot on. So what I'm going to do actually is I'm going to relay them all, working from this edge now, and I'll get 4 across and just move this board a bit, because I was thinking, oh, I'll have to cut them and all this lot, but actually no, I'll just lay them from that way, move that board, that's all, that edging board, and that'll make quite a nice little flagged area in front of the shed there. So that's a project probably more for sort of winter when all the gardening stuff's done. The courgettes are still churning out, fantastic. So there's, oops, probably might leave until tomorrow, but there's about 4 or 5 on there I can see. And the squash had just stopped growing. They just, I don't know what, they just stopped growing, so they didn't do as well as I wanted, but there you go, you can't win every time I suppose, can you? But all in all, everything's looking alright. Just a little bit of weeding to do on the leeks, but they're looking good. Could do with a bit of rain, to be honest. Coming next week, I think. So what I'm going to do now, so I've got these flags unloaded, you can see the apples dropping here. So these are Laxtons Fortune, it's a heritage variety, so I'm going to be picking those next, so I'll come back to you. Right, I've got the flags unloaded and stacked, so let's get these apples picked. Now, people often say, don't they, how do you know when they're ready? Well, obviously, that's a giveaway sign, isn't it? Colour as well, you know, but that doesn't 100% mean they're ready. So when you're picking, you know, you can see the stalk just there, so really you should be able to just lift and twist, see, and the stalk should come away fully intact, so that you're not damaging any spur or anything for next year. So I've got my little fruit bag here. These are brilliant, these. So yeah, so it's just basically lift and twist, and you see how they're coming away with the stalk intact. So these, and then obviously what you want to do is cut into one, and the seeds should be brown or turning brown, and that's an indication of full ripeness. Alright guys, so I've got those picked. There's about half a crate full. Not bad to say, they were very undersized. Just one there I've left on. You can see, because it's underneath the foliage, so it doesn't get the sun the same. So I might as well just leave it to ripen up a bit more. Now you see I've put some aside on the ground here. That one's obviously, birds have been at it. And this one has gone rotten. But these, it's basically all codling moth, even though you can see that little brown frass there. So that's a telltale sign of codling moth. So obviously, because they're all going up to the field to me mate, he's going to sell them. So you can't sell that sort of stuff. So if they'll keep, they'll go for cider. But you can see, you know, bits of damage on them. Even though I'd put codling moth traps up, that frass there again, look, just there. It wasn't enough. I don't think I put them out soon enough, and it's been pretty bad this year. Let me show you a few more examples. So these crates here are what I'm basically putting to one side for pressing for cider. So it's ones that, like this for example, that have been pecked, or indeed, you know, codling moth. So there's a classic example. Codling moth damage, and it's really frustrating, you know, because it damages really good fruit, and then what happens is they'll start getting brown rot, and then of course that's going to spread. So I mean, what I keep doing is trying to just go through them, and anything that's got brown or got going with brown rot, and just chuck it, you know, get rid of it. But this is the issue, you know, you're up against. Can you keep them until pressing time? There's another one that's starting to go, which is probably ideally October, you know, when the fruits reach its maximum sugar content. But invariably, you know, when they get damaged like that, they don't usually store. But hey ho, that's what, you know. So I think the lesson for next year is get the codling moth traps out a lot sooner, especially when we had a spring like we did this year, which was very warm. And I forgot to mention the damsons. This one damson tree here, I was saying I thought there would be about 3 mushroom crates or something, off maybe 4. Well, there was, but in terms of weight, there must have been 40 pound. I mean, it's absolutely incredible. I've never had a crop like that before. And I don't know if you can see just up there, there's still about a pound or so left on. So what I'm going to do is come back this afternoon and pick those, get a better angle. You see them up there? I don't know how good that's coming across on camera, but anyway, I'll come back this afternoon and pick those. But also I need to prune it. So with stone fruits, you should always really get your pruning done as soon as you've picked your fruit. So for me, it'll be these extension growths here, just pruning them back to 2 or 3 buds beyond the basal cluster. You know, this one's an extension, for example. There's the basal cluster there, and so you want to be going kind of 1, 2, 3 leaves, and then put it there. So all this, you know, it looks a lot, about 2 foot of growth needs to come off, and then those buds there will turn into fruiting spurs hopefully. So you just need to go, let me come back, a little bit and then get another shot of it. Turn you around. So, and those that are going up like this, you need to take them back, because obviously the higher it gets, you're not going to be able to get to your fruit, so you need to keep it, you know, within reach and everything. And then anything sort of in the middle that's starting to clutter it up, you know, so you're going after a vase, sort of traditional vase, open vase, they say you should be able to throw your hat through it. But that's what we're after. So I'm going to come back, as I say, and that one there, this branch here, growing sort of a bit back into the middle, so I might cut that out. But anyway, I'll do a sort of I'll do a before and after shot. I mean, here's the summer prunings that I did. Was it last week, off the apples and pears? Quite a big pile, but like I say, get it all done now. I did this plum here last week. I didn't take that much off it really, but yeah, get it done. Right guys, I'm back down the micro orchard, and you can see I've spent a bit of time trying to get this, it's not a patio but just a flagged area in front of the shed sorted with those flags I got this morning. So it's rough as anything. There's a load down this side I put because I've had to move that scaffolding board, so they're not even. But to be honest with you, I'm not bothered right now. I just wanted to get it roughly down, and it is rough, before winter, you know, before bad weather sets in, and then I can just get those smoothed out as and when. That's the most. I've still got a bag and a half of sand left to do that job, so I just need to cut some pegs so to make sure that end board's in, and screw it in wherever, and then yeah, so I was glad to get that done. So now I'm going to turn my attention to this damson tree, so have a good look at it now, and then I'll come back once I've done the pruning and we'll have a look then. Okay guys, I hope you can see the difference. Quite a lot of material, that pile down there, and actually I had a really badly diseased branch. I've had to take a whole branch off. I can burn that, so that's why I put it to one side. But if I just go around here and show you, this camera's picking this up, there's no green cambium at all, so everything coming up distal from this point, you can see the foliage there dying back, going yellow, and that's the reason why there was no sap getting to it. So what I'm going to have to do is get the chainsaw down and cut, just keep going back until I can find some live wood, hopefully around here somewhere, and then it's going to throw some new growths out, and then, you know, I can kind of replace this branch. And actually there's a sucker, you see, this is the tree here now, so you got that sort of goblet type shape, but if you come down now, to be honest with you, I knew that sucker was there a year or two back and I've completely ignored it, and so I'm not sure if I'll be able to get that out with any sufficient root on it. I'll give it a go, but you can see it's that's about 7.5 foot tall. So if I can get it out over winter, that'll go in the food hedge. I think if not, then I'll just try and treat it as a separate tree, you know, or just cut it off and maybe dig the root out or something. But anyway, it's always nice to have, you know, because this original tree came from a sucker, and it's the most productive damson tree I've ever had. Well, that's it for this one, folks. Worked hard. It's time for a beer, I think. I'm just going to turn you around in a minute, but just to say thanks as always for watching. Please do like and hit the subscribe button, I'd really appreciate it. Take care, I'll see you in the next one. Just going to pan you around with a shot of these pears. It's done spectacularly well. Alright.